Liona, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. This is a busy time for you because you've got you got several shows that are going to be coming up. You were just telling me you just came from Hamilton from doing an interview there, and then you're here. Like I said, it must be crazy for you right now.
I came from Hamilton this morning, but I was in Nova Scotia last week, and then I played 2 days ago. I sold out Kitchener, which was great, and I played a place called Tillsonburg, and they had like 150 people on the waiting list. But I'm playing this Saturday, the 25th of November at Trinity St. Paul's, and it's at Spadina and Bloor. It's a big church, and chapel music plays there, and it's got the most glorious acoustics. The Mississauga Children's Choir are joining me, and they are fantastic. And also Grammy-nominated Ron Korb. He's playing flute, so he gets to do a solo thing. And I'm doing my Winter Fantasy program. It's a really magical album, and the people just say, oh, you just create a magic on the stage with this. It's basically well-known carols, but I've also written a lot of beautiful melodies, and it's intertwined. So it does have a magic feel. Peter Bond, I give a lot of credit to. He's the producer of my last 5 albums. So it's really special, and I've always been associated with Christmas, and this album is actually my favorite of the 3 different albums. And I have another album out that's nothing to do with Christmas called No Remedy for Love. It's a quote by Henry David Thoreau: "There is no remedy for love but to love more." And it's also a song and my autobiography. So
that's what I mean. You have been so busy. How did you even make time to actually come up with a Christmas concert tour, which we are all so excited about, the fact that you're bringing us some holiday cheer?
Yes, well, I did it last year with Andrew. He's my young 26-year-old prodigy. Gorgeous. He's a model too, and he's got a fantastic voice. Wait till you hear him sing "Oh Holy Night" and a piece I wrote called Aurora Borealis. So he accompanies me on guitar. We both play some classical guitar. We do a couple of poems that I wrote. We do things with fantastic tracks. I think we're going to sing Canada, My Canada too, the patriotic song that I wrote that's on an album called The Return to Canada with Love, and we'll sing that with the children's chorus. So I know they've done it before with me, so we're very excited, and a lot of friends from Toronto are coming, and there's still good seats. So, but the environment of a church is somehow special, and to do, and I'm not that religious, but with the beautiful acoustics and the beautiful sound, and I have my own sound man for this tour. But it's the second Christmas tour we've done. We've got one concert in the U.S., but the rest are all within Canada. And we had a great time, and all the different concerts, people come afterwards, and they always tell me stories like, we grew up with your Guitar for Christmas album, which actually was the first classical album ever to go platinum in Canada. And they're very touching. I like to meet people afterwards. I always do that. And people that have enjoyed my first book, which has just been released, that's called In My Own Key, My Life in Love and Music. That's where I talk about the casting couch, and it's all old stuff to me, because I had all those experiences. But it also talks about my adventures all over the world that the guitar took me on. And I pinch myself, how did I ever do all these things? You can see some of it on the website, as you know, right? And then I decided to write this new book, and I got permission from Prince Philip, who's 96 years old, who's been my friend and pen pal for 30 years. I said, could I write about our friendship? Could I use little quotes from some of your letters? Because I have hundreds of letters from him. I just got one about 5 days ago. Yeah, he's a big fan of my music. Of course, it's not a romantic relationship. He's married to the Queen of England. And bless him, he invited me to come and play for him a song that I wrote for him called Love of the Horse, because he and the Queen both love horses. In fact, the day I played at Windsor Castle earlier this year, both he and the Queen have been out. He with the ponies, he does carriage steering, and the Queen was actually riding a horse, good for her at 92. And so the new book, it's a really good read. I think it's well written. I love writing. And the first book was a bestseller, so I hope this will be too. And it tells my divorce, which was very difficult, how I had to quit playing guitar for 6 years because I'd overplayed, and I had something called musician's focal dystonia. And then I reinvented myself. I added singing. I became a singer-songwriter. And I know you and your girlfriend love my music. So this is a whole exciting chapter. I came back to live in Toronto after 20 years living in the U.S. And one other thing I should mention, my site is classicalguitar.com or leonaboyd.com, but now you can get the books and the records all on the internet if you want. I mean, I still prefer the physical because you can get Indigo and but so few record stores left, right? But you can get them on Amazon. You can get iBooks. They have deals for 2, I know. But it took me 4 years to write the new book, and it's almost right up to the present. Tells the story of how I fell in my Palm Beach house, broke my shoulder and broke my knee, and had to be airlifted back to Toronto, and how it was, suddenly finding yourself a patient in a hospital at Bridgepoint and having to be on a walker and then crutches. But I guess I'm a survivor, and it was an interesting life experience. And I'm back on tour and back doing albums. This is now my 28th album. And I think the new album, No Remedy for Love, is it's a beautiful production. The guy who was doing the mastering said, wow, the production on this is amazing, and many different layers. I have different guests. Jack Grunsky, who I had a big crush on when I was 13. He sang me Puff the Magic Dragon, and he and his wife live in Toronto, so I invited him to sing a beautiful song that he wrote the music to, and I wrote the lyrics. That's the only one. The rest I wrote. And there's a Toronto song and a theme song for Ontario, and a song about animals and the people who care for them. So it's many types of love. Love for the planet. I have a piece called Prayer for Planet Earth, because, the Earth is warming, and I'm very concerned about what we're doing to the environment. And I do that as part of the concert too. But mostly we'll be doing, holiday music, and then people get to sing along. And we might even do a very famous piece at the end as an encore, which everyone will know. And then a piece I wrote called Christmas Dreams. So it's a joyful Christmas. And bring your kids, Bring children, because one concert can change your life. It did. When I was 13, my mother took me to a concert, and the rest is history. Just exposing them, even if they don't become guitarists, it might trigger something in their brain to think, wow, music would be great. And even if you play at a very simple level, especially on guitar, it's still beautiful to have music in your life and to have appreciation. So I really encourage families to come and expose their kids. It's not a heavy classical concert. It's a beautiful concert with a lot of variety, and especially seeing the Mississauga Children's Chorus, because they're just delightful, and we've worked together before. And I'm their honorary patron, and really want other kids to hear them, because it can be very inspiring. I've been inspired by listening to music all my life. So thank you, Rudy, for having me back again. It was lovely to hear you. You were telling me that you used to listen to my music years ago and didn't think you'd be interviewing me. Well, I'm going to give you a big hug.
It is always a pleasure speaking with you. I want to just ask you very quickly one more time, with your Christmas album, what songs are on the album that we're going to be able to enjoy over the holidays?
Oh, well, there's a beautiful version of Silent Night, where the way it begins with the harmonics and original melody, you don't realize it's Silent Night, and then suddenly you hear the melody coming out. And Huron Carol, where we have some interesting sort of native effects with the tambura, and that's a Canadian Christmas carol. We have pieces, traditional ones that you'd know, like God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. I wrote one called A Winter Fantasy, and Christmas Through the Looking Glass, so it goes into another kind of dimension, because it's got some kind of ethereal magic to it. When Peter and I work together, it's a wonderful experience, because we're like musical soulmates. And I come up with a melody and an arrangement, and then he does the orchestrations, and some of them are very complex productions. Some have many, many layers. And he also did my beautiful Seven Journeys album, Music for the Soul and the Imagination. And he produced, engineered, and played on the No Remedy for Love album. And a lot of what you might think is keyboard, it's all him on the guitar. And so it's very delicate, beautiful sounds from the electric guitar. Who would have thought? But it's very different from, how Eric Clapton and David Gilmour played on my Persona record. This is very ethereal and transcendental, I have to say it. And Gordon Lightfoot called me up and he said how much he loved the Christmas album. And then I wrote a song for him, which is on the new album, The No Remedy, and had Romping Ronnie Hawkins as a guest. And he's just so touched. I just saw him about 3 weeks ago. He said, Liona, thank you so much for writing that song. It really means a lot. I toured with him in the 70s and he helped give me my boost. So now I'm delighted that I'm helping Andrew Dolson get his start in music, just like I helped Pavlo. And,
I'm just thrilled at the fact that, like I said, an icon like yourself is still giving us great music. The fact that the holiday season is here and we have a holiday concert series that you are involved with. We have a Christmas album and we still have the book and everything else. Oh my goodness.
They make great Christmas presents, CDs and books, yes. And I'll sign them after the concert.
Incredible. Where do we go website-wise again?
Just Liona Boyd, Liona. It's always been Liona, but some people misspell it. LeonaBoyd.com. Or the other way to get it is classicalguitar.com, and you can get tickets. It shows where you get tickets for each concert. So Toronto, Richmond Hill, Midland, Port Perry, Collingwood. Yeah, please come and bring your kids if you can.
Definitely. Thank you so much for the interview. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all the best for 2018.
Thank you, Rudy. You always look great, and such a pleasure to see you.